to another episode of J Ride Customs. I've been extremely busy over the last couple of weeks. Spring has hit here, so there's tons of outside stuff to do and swap meets and all kinds of things. So, been a little bit busy. But today we're spending time in the shop working on, you know it, you know it. We're going to go over what I've done to it and what I'm going to do to it over the next couple weeks. I lucked out. I'm off this week and I'm off a couple days next week. So we're going to get some production done around here. Let's get started on this. So I managed to score 2 more 19.5 rims, and with pretty decent tires on them too. I think I paid like $110 off of Facebook Marketplace, and they're identical to what I have on the front. So they just need some sandblasting and some paint, and they're good to go. And you can see I got my toolbox door on, but there's no toolbox in there yet. I'm going to do that after I pull all the sides off that I put on there. All the braces are in. So this thing, sadly enough, is ready to be tore off. I'm going to tear off the deck. I tear off the lowers first, and then I'm going to unbolt it, and I'm going to use the hoist to lift it off the truck. And then it's going to be off for a minute or two so I can finish off the cab. I'm going to do the steering. I haven't done that yet. I haven't hooked up the brakes. I got to do the brake lines, and I got to get it running. So there's a whole lot of things to do on the front of the truck. So I'm going to put it on my other hoist here, the bend pack, because it can lift the truck by itself, no problem. So at least I can do the underneath stuff on the hoist. And then I'm going to paint the deck separate. I'm going to paint the truck separate. And then in the end, we'll put them together. So I got to still do a few things to this deck, just a few little things. I got to still put that one piece in there, close that off. And I scored last week at the swap meet some pretty darn cool taillights. I kind of wanted something error correct for the truck. I didn't want to go to Princess Auto and get some plastic made in Taiwan lights. So I found something cool. They just jumped right out at me at the swap meet. So these being 5 inches, they won't fit in that tube. They won't. That's a 4-inch tube. So I'm thinking about making like a drop with the taillights in it, and then having the license plate in there as well. And I'm actually going to put a 2-inch standoff here that runs the whole length of the back so the ramps can hook onto. So I'm going to go pick up that steel maybe this week if I have time. So yeah, I'm going to do that when it's off the truck. I can do that, no problem. I can bring it up to my height. It'll be awesome. And I'm going to pull these boards off one at a time, and I'm going to number them, starting with that corner, and just take all the boards off so they go back to where they were, where they fit. And then I can gap them, move them around and gap them after. So, because they twist, they dry out, wood. So yeah, that's what's going to happen here over the next couple days. Lots of work going to happen. All right, let's get at her. I want to start by numbering those boards and taking them off, and then do the sides. Peel the sides off, because I'm going to paint those separate as well. I'm going to put those in my painting area and paint the sides. And those aren't water tank recycled water tanks. Those are actually the ceiling panels from the donor bus. They're made of aluminum. So I recycled them. And yeah, that whole structure is made of aluminum. I used my spool gun on it. So I got to finish my welding on the deck because I didn't do any of the unders. I just did the 3 edges of the tubes. And then I welded where I could on the aluminum structure for the bottom. So I'm going to go over those, weld them better, and then I'm going to paint it. But she is looking pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. People are going to love this guy. Yep. All right. Let's get numbering of the boards and get that out of the way and go from there. So there it is. The wood is off. There were 36 pieces of wood in here. 36. See all my heavy duty structure here? And then I got my aluminum braces for the sides. Those are all in, and they just mount to the perch of where the old bus was. So they just screw in. Bang. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So, yeah, I got my gas tank all covered from when I was welding and everything. So that can come off now. Done welding in that general area. I still got to put my gas gauge in the tank yet. And I'm going to use the original pump out of the bus, so, and the fuel lines and everything, so I'm not going to touch any of that. I'm just going to run my new pump wires to the pump, figure out which ones go where, and that would be it, because I just did not want to alter this frame at all. So I'm trying to use as much as I possibly can. The only thing I took out was the catalytic converters. And here's the shifter cable. So I'm going to try to see if I can make this work as well. It's super, super long. So I'm going to try to make this work with a shifter. I'm going to go to my parts department and see if I can find myself a nice floor shifter and see if I can make this work. Yeah. So now we're going to disassemble the sides. Take the sides off, undo the bolts that hold the main structure in, and lift the deck off. That's going to be difficult with this hoist. I'm still contemplating on if I'm going to just like strap it to the top, because it's so wide I can't get the legs underneath. But I guess we'll see once I get the sides out. We shall see about that. And then getting it all balanced too. That's going to be a chore. But who knows? It could go eat like butter. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's take the sides off. There's only like a few screws upwards into this main rail here. There's only a few. There's like 3 on each, I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while. It's been a while since I put this on. So, and then I got the front. I still got to rivet that one all in because I couldn't do it with the cab was in the way. So I'm going to do those when I take them off. And these, the corners, those are just teleposts that they've just screwed to. So I'm just going to put some caulking on there and paint it. No one knows the difference. My beautiful deck. All right, let's take these sides off and then pull it off. And then I'm going to move this truck onto the other hoist. And then I got a lot of work to do on that. It's not going to go under the deck until the truck is done. Like running, driving, stopping, done. And I'm going to probably take the chassis outside and give it a good pressure washing now that it's summertime. Just give it a good blast. And then start doing the rims. I'm going to wet blast the rims and then paint those with base clear. And I got those spiked lug nuts now for it. So things are coming together. It's coming together. I'm going to go to the metal store, get some metal to do that back part for the taillights. That's going to look cool. I got a vision already happening in my head. All right, let's take the sides. There we are. We destroyed it. We destroyed it. We broke her down. We broke her down. Yeah, all that hard work. But whatever. It's all for progress, right? So now I just have to do all of my bolts. And then we're going to lift the deck off. And it didn't take too long. Here's all my sides. So now I'm going to see all my pattern of rivets and stuff. I'm going to continue that on these front pieces there. I'll put some urethane on there, rivet it, call it a day so it doesn't vibrate or anything. Like that one there, you can see there's a little bit of caulking squeezing out. Yeah, and I got to put some handles on those doors. I got some leftover ones, so I'm going to put some nice handles on there with locks and everything. This one here ended up with louvers, but whatever, it looks cool. It looks cool, that one. You can see there's a little bit of a bow in that panel. It was ceiling panels. Just recycling. Recycling, yeah. So I'm going to do some touch-up welds on the structure of those, one at a time. And then I'm going to pull this guy, and I'm going to do all my underneath welds. There's lots, especially at the back there. I didn't want to crawl underneath there. And like I said, I still got to do that piece there. Well, here we go. So let's get this deck off. Let's do that. There we have it, folks. She's up in the air. Just used the old feet on the hoist, and away it went. It was nice without those sides. There's the chassis, and there's the underside of the deck. See, there's a spot there I need to weld. Under there. There's quite a few spots there. Main structure parts, so here I got to bang that up and weld in there. So there's lots of welding to do under here yet. I'm going to pick up some primer for this guy and get it in some primer. Sooner the better. And yeah, there's lots of welds to do. Lots of welding, overhead welding. So here, there. We'll get the welding done first, and I'll go pick up some primer. There. Some primer here, probably on the Tuesday because it's a long weekend here. So now I'm going to move the big truck over to this area here and get that into the air as well so I can start to get this thing running. Hopefully it'll be running by the time I go back to work. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. All right, let's get moving this thing. That's going to stay there. I'm going to move my welder over here so I can weld all that. Yep, let's move this big old girl home. So we got the big old girl moved in the hoist area. And that guy there, I welded all of those welds where it needed to be welded. Those are all done now. Everything underneath is done. It took me about 2 hours to weld everything up, but it's done. Now the underneath is all done. So now I got to drill a few holes and put some rust prevention in there, in these tubes, all of the tubes. And yeah, get some primer on it. So I'm going to pretty much leave this till probably Tuesday or Wednesday when I can get my butt to the metal store and get some more steel and make these parts. It's going to be like a roll pan with a license plate in there. I might as well do that. So I'll go Tuesday or Wednesday-ish and see if I can get that stuff. But yeah, this is all welded up. Yep. So the big girl's in place now, looking pretty weak without a deck. So there's the gas tank. It's all exposed now. I'm going to pump the gas out, put the gas gauge in the tank, and that'll be tomorrow. And I gotta do the wiring. Look at the spaghetti in here. There's the new wiring harness. So I gotta route all that to where it needs to go. And then the steering shaft, Hydro Boost brakes, all that fun stuff. Yeah, and the air box. I gotta put an air box in here. Power steering. I gotta actually lengthen the power steering lines. They're too short. So they go up to the power, what do you call that? The Hydro Boost. So they're actually short, so I'm going to make some more power steering lines. But yep, this is where we're at on this video. Buddy Mark came over and helped me put the windshield in. Yeah. So this is where we're going to leave this video. Thanks for watching. And thanks for subscribing. And peace out. Get you on the next one.